Come in, and welcome to the Chaston Centre. I'm Karen Chaston, and today we're going to be talking about redundancy. I'm going to assume that you're watching this video because redundancy has come into your life, either directly or within a family member. So redundancy, it's one of the greatest loss that we will suffer in our life. How are you feeling? Are you angry? Are you worried? Are you in stress? Are you in avoidance? It's a good question to ask because the shock of redundancy and the following emotions are very important. And you need to honour the emotions because the emotions are our guide to protect us, to help us to see a better way forward. And I can understand what you're going through. Because in 2012, redundancy came into my life. At the time, I was a CFO of a publicly listed company, and I loved my job, and I was good at my job. And the company that I was working for was merging with another. And during that process, I was told that I wouldn't be CFO in the new company, but I'd be doing everything I'm doing now, plus more. Eventually, when they gave me my contract, I chose redundancy, and I was angry. How dare they treat me like this? I have this letter from the CEO from a couple of years ago telling me that I am the oracle of the company and I have set the work standard in this company. Everyone loves me. I am so good at my job. I work too much, but I am amazing at my job. And here I am a couple of years later, being made redundant. Boy, was I angry, but not for very long. And the reason why it wasn't for very long was because Ray, a manager, not my manager, but a manager in the company where I worked in the 80s and 90s, came into my mind. Ray was made redundant in the early 90s. And all of the 400 staff could not believe that Ray was leaving. He was one of those men, one of those managers that whether you worked with him directly or not, he knew your name, he knew who your family members were, and he would always have a big smile on his face. He would always brighten your day just by seeing him, let alone having the privilege of speaking with him. So when Ray was made redundant, he was in his late 50s. And he had this belief that he was never going to receive a job that was even half as good as that at his age. And eventually he allowed this belief to really affect him. He started drinking more. He started getting angry at life, angry at everyone who came into his sphere. And of course, it didn't work very well for him. So as he saw his finances going down and down and down, his health, his emotions, eventually he became sick. He got cancer. And within 10 years, he had passed, never ever finding anything like that job. And Ray, it always stood with me that if Ray had known a better way, if Ray had known how to move beyond his redundancy loss and to see it as a pivotal moment in his life where he could learn from what has happened in the past, he could figure out what he could do better, what he could stop doing and what he could continue doing. But he didn't. So in 2012, early 2013, when Ray popped into my head, I knew that I had to find a better way to move beyond loss. Because you see, if you look around the world, most people don't know how to move beyond loss. We go into avoidance. We don't even really understand loss. Most of us don't understand that there are over 40 different loss events that can affect our lives. Most of us think death of a loved one is loss, and it is. But there are over 40 different loss events that will affect us. and are grief-causing situations. And because we don't understand that what has just happened in our life is a grief-causing situation, we go into avoidance, we get angry, we stay stuck, and then we wonder why life is so hard and why everything that is happening in our life is happening to us and not for us. So that's what I did. I took my redundancy, and I'd had many losses before that. 15 months earlier, my son had passed away at my back door. So I knew within my heart of hearts that I had experienced every single loss in my life so that I could find that easier way for people to move beyond loss. So they didn't get stuck. So they didn't end up with, like Ray, all alone, angry, in isolation, suffering in silence, even though he had his family all around him, his beautiful wife and 3 sons. Even though they were all around him, he was still in isolation because he couldn't get out of his own way. Does this sound like what you're experiencing at the moment? Are you in fear? Are you stuck? Are you started drinking too much and eating too much and being angry? This is why I went looking for a better way for us all to move beyond any kind of loss. And the beautiful thing about it is the process that I created through the Chaston Centre it works for any kind of loss. It doesn't matter if it's a death of a loved one or a divorce or a separation or your finances, your job loss, your health. Even, in the early 2020s, we've all experienced huge loss in the years that we lived, the past 3 years that we have lived. A lot of the minor losses came to the forefront: loss of freedom, loss of choice, loss of status, loss of identity, changing work conditions, changing recreational and social activities. So when we know how to look at what is happening in our life, and from a logical way, not from our anger, embracing our emotions, but learning from our emotions, as opposing letting our emotions, more or less, as Brené Brown says, hog tie us in the back of the car and they're driving us and they're in charge of everything that we do. No, that's not how we live our life. That's not how we create our most ideal life that we can live and love each and every day. We can't be ruled by our emotions. We can learn from them. And that's the beauty of the program, Beyond Redundancy Loss, where we do go through a whole lot of different ways of looking at things. We bring in different modalities. We bring in a different perspective. And then we wrap it all up and we give you these tools, these gems that you will have for the rest of your life. So that when loss does come to visit, and it will, we live in a world of duality. We can't have love without loss. We can't have loss without love. And as we move through that infinite journey from love to loss, hopefully we can very quickly move from loss back into love. And that's what this program does. It gives you that new perspective so that you can look out at the horizon in your life and you can see endless possibilities. Isn't that a beautiful phrase? Endless possibilities for you and your life. That's what this program is about. So if this resonates with you, I highly recommend that you come and join us. I promise you, I guarantee you will be very grateful. And I'm not going to lie to you. You're going to be doing a lot of work. You're going to be diving into those emotions. You're going to be diving in to things that have happened in your life, because we need to look back so that we can look forward, so that we can create that better forward, so that we can learn from the past, so we do know what we can stop doing, what we can continue doing, and what we can start doing. Because you deserve to live and love your life. So I look forward to seeing you on the other side.